What's up, guys? What's going on? Just going to tag a few of you guys in here before we get started, and then we will discuss these Q&A questions. A lot of good questions today. A lot of good questions tonight. So we'll get into it. Let me just finish tagging some of you guys, and then we'll get into these questions. How's everybody's day going? Have you guys got your workouts in today? If you were scheduled. Clients, you know you're not scheduled today. So today's an off day unless you got some cardio to make up or workouts to make up. Everybody else, did you guys get your workouts in today? If not, hopefully you will get your workouts after today or after this live, because you're going to be amped. You're going to get a lot of good information tonight. And we'll get into it in another 30 seconds-ish. All right, I'm just finishing tagging some of you guys, trying to get as many people in here as possible, so I can answer your questions, so that way we don't have to go back and forth in the comments. All right. Cool, guys. All right. How is everybody's day going? All right, now I can see the comments. I was tagging everybody. Cool. So I see Mariel in here, Rebecca, Isaiah, Renee. What's going on? Cool. All right, we're going to get to a lot of these questions. We got James, Jay Smooth's in here. Colton, what's going on? All right, guys, we're going to hop right into it. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the comments as I'm speaking, and if I don't get to it, we're either running out of time or I don't see it, so just put it in the comments again, because I've noticed that sometimes when I'm doing these lives, Facebook doesn't show me all the comments. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm going to go from top to bottom, and again, we got some really good questions today. So first question is from Mariel. She was able to make it today, so welcome aboard. So best advice for post-workout recovery. I'm going to assume, and you can put it in the comments, Mariel, that you mean that you're getting like really, really sore after workouts, or you're just feeling really tired after workouts. So a couple things to take into factor is, if you are just starting to work out again, you're probably going to be sore almost regardless of what you do. So it's important to kind of like ease into the weight training as opposed to going all out or doing what you were maybe working out before. So that's the number one thing. That's how to kind of like lower the amount of soreness and fatigue from post-workout. But also, it's very important to not stray away from the basics. So a lot of times people think like, oh, it's all about supplements, right? It's all about, I just need a good post-workout shake, or I need more BCAAs, or I need to buy the newest, most up-to-date like recovery drink that they have at GNC or Vitamin World or Vitamin Shop or wherever you get your supplements from, okay? But in actuality, the real way to decrease or the best advice for post-workout recovery is going to be these three things, all right? So number one, Jose, you made it. Number one is going to be foam rolling, okay? So foam rolling / mobility, that's going to help and allow you to be able to move in the correct range of motion. So for example, and I guarantee you some of you guys are going to try this right now. Watch. So, for example, some people can't do this. They can't simply put their arm above their head, okay, like to cover their ears. When they do that, usually their arm goes up this way somewhere or forward. And the reason for that being is because they have really, really, really tight muscles. Or it's called fascia. So it's basically the thin layer of skin between your muscles and between your muscles and your skin. So it's a very, very thin layer. Think of like when you're peeling a chicken, you know, that like really, really thin layer. So when that gets tightened up and it's not moving correctly, your body can't move in a correct range of motion, right? So it'll start moving this way as opposed to moving this way where it's supposed to move, all right? So that's number one. So foam rolling. If you're balling, right, if money ain't a thing, then you could get massages as well. That also helps with recovery because it allows your body to flush out toxins while you're doing that, all right? Does that make sense so far, guys? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. If foam rolling and massaging makes sense to you. Again, if you have any comment or questions, comments, concerns, type it in the comments and I will see it as we go through this, all right? So put some fire emojis, put some thumbs up so I know that you're paying attention. And I know that this live is working and I'm not just on mute, all right? So that's number one. Kevin, what's going on? Angela, what's going on? Jose, what's going on? Cool, guys. All right, Miana made it in here. So that's number one. So that's number one, guys. Foam rolling / massage if you're balling, right? Or if you're balling on a budget, then you could go with foam rolling, all right? And that's going to help you recover fast, okay? Number two, I have it right here. It's a secret supplement I'm actually going to be selling on the Real Results website pretty soon. It's water. It's actually, it's water. I'm not going to be selling it. Water, guys. Your body is comprised of some stupid number percent. I think it's like 70 to 80% water, all right? So if you're not drinking enough water, and if you're just drinking a bunch of soda, and you're drinking a bunch of crap, and you're not hydrating yourself, then your body's not going to be able to function properly. Like who here, hopefully my clients can attest to this that are on here, who here has jumped on the program, and you've heard me, and if D's on here, if D Money is on here, she will attest to this. And they're like, I'm sick, or I'm feeling tired. What do I do? And I tell them to drink water, and I tell them to drink it like it's their job till they're sick of it. And then they do, and then they feel 100 times better afterwards, right? Yzette made it in here. So water, guys, I cannot stress the importance of water, all right? If your pee is not clear, if you're not having multiple pees that are clear throughout the day, then you are dehydrated, all right? Simple as that. That is also going to help you recover fast, okay? Number 3. See, Miana knows what I'm talking about. Number 3. All right, and I guarantee you, when you go from like barely drinking any water to drinking a ton of water, like I try to go through. I don't have my Real Results bottle today, but when you go, like I try to aim for a little over a gallon a day. When you do that, you're going to feel so much better throughout the day, and you're just going to feel energized, like you've had a ton of water, right? All right, so number 3. So we've talked about foam rolling / massage, water. Number 3 is going to be active recovery, guys. So active recovery, what active recovery is like, okay, let's say you're sore, right? The last thing you want to do is, or probably the worst thing you want to do if you're extremely, extremely sore is like go to the gym. But you don't want to be lazy, right? I don't want you guys to just like sit down or lay down all day and just be like, oh, I deserve this. I went hardcore in the gym and I deserve this day, and then I'm going to be back at it tomorrow, right? No. What you want to do is active recovery. So forms of active recovery, foam rolling, like we talked about, walking, just going on a walk. Like you going on a walk is going to help flush out toxins. It's going to help, there's a fancy word for it. I'll come back to that fancy word. But there's a fancy word for it that basically it allows you to start moving again normally, because sometimes when we work out we're feeling really tense, like you can't move your arms straight, or anytime you walk or you walk down the stairs it really hurts. So being able to walk, going on a walk, this is not going to impair your strength, right? Going on a walk is not going to impair your strength unless you're speed walking and you're doing it for 2 hours and you're doing it as a sport, which I don't think anybody in this group is, all right? So does that make sense, guys? Those are the top 3 ways that we're going to recover, okay? So that's going to be it for question 1. Put some fire emojis. Put some thumbs up if that makes sense. Let me know you're alive. And kicking in this chat. All right, so foam rolling / massage, water, and then active recovery. Active recovery such as walking and or foam rolling. All right, does that make sense, guys? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. All right, number two is something that I feel like all of us, question number 2, is I feel like something all of us have dealt with one time or another. And, sometimes, especially if we have had bad eating habits in the past, this can be a big one. You're welcome, Mariel. The second thing is, how do you stop snacking? All right, so a lot of us deal with this from time to time. We could go on these like long strings of eating clean, and then all of a sudden you just cannot stop eating. You cannot stop snacking, and you'll be sometimes snacking on the most ridiculous stuff. All right, so number 1, before I tell you like what you need to do, like physical actions that you need to do in order to stop snacking, you have to ask yourself, right? And I want you guys all to kind of like stop for a minute and ask yourself, yeah, snacking does ruin everything. I'll get to that in just a second. But like, I want you to find out why you're snacking, okay? So me personally, when I'm snacking because I'm extremely bored, right? Like I finished all my work, there's nothing left to do, I'm just kind of lounging around, and I'm like, oh, like, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy, right? So figure out why you're snacking, okay? So if it is because out of boredom, which is like 99% of the time why a lot of us will start snacking, right? So give me a fist in the comments, actually, all right? I'm thinking of different emojis. So give me a fist in the comments if you have dealt with snacking due to absolute boredom. All right, put a fist in there. All right, put a fist in the comments. All right. So usually it's due to boredom. Okay. Sometimes, Darren, you made it. Who else made it? Luke is in here. So another reason, guys, why you could be snacking is you're not prepared. All right. And if you know me, if you follow me on Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, like what are you doing with your life? It's Real Results FTNS, Real Results Fitness. What are you doing with your life if you're not following me on Instagram? But anyway, I'll yell at you later for that. Or I'm emotional. That could be it. Okay, so another reason could be that you're not prepared, all right? You know, I am a proponent of like flexible dieting, and I want you to enjoy foods that normally you would not consider like clean and or healthy. And the reason we do that is so we don't go on a binge later, right? We make it fit within our calories, we make it fit within our macros. But also, that being said, that doesn't mean to like not be prepared with anything, all right? So me personally, what I have done and or am doing, like lately, I have actually been really, really bad at preparing food and or buying or cooking, all right? So what I do in that case is I always make sure that I have some kind of protein source on deck, all right? Whether it be eggs, whether it be like some pre-made meals, okay? Or if I'm gonna go out to eat, like you want to think maybe I would say 99% of the group is in the U.S., but everyone who's not, maybe you could give me some ideas. When you go out to eat, think of like buying in bulk. So like if I go to like El Pollo Loco, for example, I'll buy some like a family meal of chicken in bulk because it's very, very easy to get like carbs and or fat anywhere. I could make some rice really quick, potatoes really quick, anything like that. Or let's say if you're in the States, this will make sense. Like Waba Grill, they have Waba Grill, or what's the other place called? Flame Broiler. You can buy. They have like clean meals, right? Where it's like basically just like meals of chicken and rice or steak and rice, and that's just keeps it very simple. Or again, I'll buy some chicken in bulk from there. So when I don't prepare my protein ahead of time, that's another option. Okay, so again, guys, these are reasons that we are snacking. Okay, so number one, to find out like why you're snacking and why. So like if you're emotional, if you're bored, anything like that, what I want you to do is look at this, we're about to knock 2 birds out in one stone. All right, bear with me here. I know this is gonna blow your mind, but you're gonna drink some water. All right, and then you're gonna go, we're knocking 3 birds out in one stone. You're gonna drink some water, then you're gonna go on a 10-minute, no more, you're gonna go on just like a 10-minute walk. All right, you're gonna clear your mind, and you're not gonna go on a 10-minute walk with snacks. All right, so I know where you guys are going with this. All right, so you're gonna go on a 10-minute walk, you're gonna drink some water, you're gonna clear your mind, and I guarantee you probably will not be hungry after that 10-minute walk. All right, it's more than likely because you're bored and or you're not prepared. Okay, all right, now all that stuff sounds great. First of all, I need to grab some water, so give me a thumbs up if that makes sense, or if that's been you, as far as like that's been a reason that you've been snacking. That's usually due to like boredom or not being prepared, right? So give me a thumbs up if that makes sense to you while I grab some water so I could do some active recovery here and not be hungry to snack. Let's go, guys. Put some fire emojis. Put some fire emojis up. All right. So, what do you do? Like, what do you buy? What kind of foods can you buy when? Yeah, fatty. I'm really selling the water. I'm about to be selling it on my website. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not selling water. So what do you do, right? So how do you like what foods do you have? The number one thing you can do, and this is going to sound so basic and so simple, is get the shit out of your house, all right? Get the junk food, the stuff that you know that you absolutely cannot hold back on. Like me, for example. I'll give you an example of myself. I do not buy ice cream, all right? I know I can fit ice cream in my calories. I know I can fit ice cream in my diet. But if I'm going to buy ice cream, I'm going to go buy like one of those little like Arctic Zero. I can't even remember the brand. That's how long it's been. Like Arctic, whatever, like low calorie pint ice cream that it's like 400 calories for the whole pint. Does not taste as good as regular ice cream, and it's super expensive. It's like $5-6 a pint. So that does two things. That hurts my wallet, right? So I don't buy it. I won't buy it in bulk, right? Although you could be like, oh, well, just buy it in bulk and separate it. I've tried that. It doesn't work for me. At this point in my life, the point I'm in my life right now, ice cream doesn't work for me. All right? Cookies I could kind of pick at and fit in within my calories, but ice cream right now does not do it for me. So I get the shit that you cannot control in your life right now out of your kitchen. Throw it away. I know you're going to say, but Fatty, that's a waste of food and money, and that's not the way I was raised. All right, then gain weight and get high cholesterol, and then pay your doctor bills later, and then you can come to me later and say you were right for throwing the shit away in my kitchen. All right, so throw all the bad food away that you have in your kitchen that is going to be that you know is going to break you. Okay, throw all your trigger foods away. That's what I call them. Throw all your trigger foods away. If you still are hungry, what you could do is like snack on veggies, right? And then you can make these veggies. So like one thing that I personally like to, I personally have liked to snack on is like bell peppers, like all different color bell peppers. You know, they have those like little bags that you could buy, the little mini bell peppers, and you could eat like 2 of those bags and be pretty full. And they taste good. Some of them are sweet, some of them are spicy. And you will be probably like well under 100 calories from like 2 bags worth, right? So that's number one. Other types of vegetables, like when you're having meals, get a lot of fibrous vegetables. So vegetables such as leafy greens, such as broccoli, such as lettuce, like put a ton of greens. Well, your whole salad should be greens anyway, but enjoy a nice, huge salad with greens. put some chicken on there, and then you could, since you are, watch this, life hack, all right? Since you are extremely, extremely low on your carbs, because it's just mainly greens, like you could have a huge bowl of salad and it'd be like under 30 carbs, and you're putting a ton of chicken in, so you're getting lots of protein in, or whatever your protein choice is. And then you could put some salad on there, some dressing on there, and enjoy your salad, right? Don't put too much, or you could get something like Walden Farms. Walden Farms is a 0-calorie brand that you could buy at almost any supermarket now, because everyone is trying to be healthy, all right? So snack on veggies, all right? Does that make sense, guys? Snack on veggies. Find out why you are eating, why you are overeating, and why you are snacking. Again, usually it's due to boredom and or not being prepared. So not being prepared, that's going to go to like planning some meals ahead of time and having some meals planned ahead of time. I used to be really, really hungry after the gym, and then I would have a bunch of snacks that I shouldn't have in my house. And then I would snack on that food after the gym because I wasn't prepared, and then it was just like a trickle effect. All right, so be prepared. All right, so that be prepared is one. If you're bored, find out why you're bored, why you're eating the food, and 3 is get the trigger foods out of there. All right, give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. I'm gonna drink more of this water that I'll be selling soon. All right, guys, we got a couple more questions on here. Throw some fire emojis up. Let me know you're alive. Let me know you're alive and kicking. Give me a thumbs up, fire emojis, whatever it is. And if that makes sense to you, or if that does not make sense to you, what I just said, just let me know in the comments, all right? Question number 3, we're going to be talking about a calorie deficit. And the question is, how big of a calorie deficit do I need? So that's kind of a tough question, right? Like, for some people, it could be, if we're talking just numbers here, Isaiah, if we're talking just numbers, then how big of a calorie deficit do you need? As big as a calorie deficit this is the general answer, okay? As big of a calorie deficit that you're going to be able to maintain long term and still lose weight, all right? So that's the long term effect of it. I think somebody asked this last week, and they're like, how do I lose more? How do I continue doing more? So my answer to that is, like, if it's not broke, then don't fix it, right? So if you're losing, let's say, like 1 to 2 pounds a week, and then now you're like, well, I want to lose 5 pounds a week. Like, think about that, depending on what your starting weight is or wherever you're at. Like, how healthy is that, and how long can you sustain losing 5 pounds a week? Maybe for the first 2-3 weeks, because your body's still adjusting to like a new diet or whatnot, but you can't do that long term. So, like, how big of a calorie deficit do I need? Isaiah, if you're on here, maybe you could answer this. Are you currently losing weight? So these are some questions you could ask yourself, right? Are you currently losing weight? If no, then you need to lower your calories. All right, simple as that. You need to lower your calories. Don't go extreme. It's just like if you were to ask me, like, if I were to ask you, like, to start preparing for a marathon, are you going to start running a mile a day if you don't run at all? Probably not, because you're probably going to injure yourself and burn out. Same thing applies to diet, right? So, how big of a calorie deficit do you need? 1, ask yourself, are you losing weight? If you are losing weight and or fat, and you're doing it consistently, then how much are you losing, right? If it's like 1/4 of a pound, you probably need to up the intensity a little bit, right? Whether it's add more cardio, whether it's decrease your calories, or a little bit of both, all right? So does that make sense so far, guys, as far as like how much calories you need to be dropping in order to start losing more weight, to be in a calorie deficit? Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if that does not make sense, because I know that I could talk very quick sometimes, and sometimes it just blows over some people's heads. So let me know if that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up. Put yes in the comments if that makes sense while I try some more water. So you guys, look at this. Active recovery while I'm doing this. It's not that hard, guys. It's these simple things like this that make a huge difference in your physique, guys, and the way you're going to be feeling. I promise you. All right? So if nobody has any questions on the calorie deficit, the next one is a great, water break, exactly. The next question is a great one, and it comes from V, and she's asking, how do you calculate calories on your homemade food? All right, so this is an issue that some people have, a lot of people have, and it just kind of gets really frustrating. There's ways that, there's ways that you could actually go on MyFitnessPal, and if you're using the same recipes, you can just like have it on there, so that way you can track it. The way I personally do it, initially it's going to be a little bit tedious, V, when you're doing this, when you're making like homemade food. So what you need to do initially is, let's say you're making, is she on here? Yeah, okay. So V, while I go for this next water break, why don't you let me know an example of something that you are making that you have no idea how to track it, like a homemade food that you have no idea how to track your calories on. And then that way, I can give you the exact, well, not the exact, but as much of a breakdown as I can while you're on here, all right? So V, let me know what food you are struggling with, or what homemade food that you are making, so that way we can try and figure out the calories together and find out how you could actually track those. All right. All the pressure's on you, V. We're all waiting for you. Adrian, what's going on? We're talking about right now. We're on, I think, question 4, and we're trying to figure out how we could calculate homemade foods, or how we could count the calories of homemade foods. Got Edward in here. Got Robert in here. Cool, we got a lot of people in here. V, where you at? Are you alive? Are you in here? Are you alive and kicking? If not, I'm going to just make a recipe up. So, speak now or forever hold your peace. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so V's not here. So we're going to talk about if we are making like a homemade. Someone give me a food. Make it up in here, so that way I could tell you how to track that food. Quick! Somebody type a food in. Hello. Someone type a food in that you want me to track. Lasagna. I was actually thinking of lasagna too. Cool. So lasagna. Mario beat you to it, Colton. So lasagna. All right. So in the ingredients of lasagna, there's what? There's cheese. There's the lasagna. There is beef broccoli. That's another good one. Pizza. So there's lasagna. There's the the carb part. I don't know what that's called. The carb part of the lasagna, the pasta part of the lasagna. There's cheese and there's some meat, right? So let's say for this this tub of lasagna that you're making, it takes 10 ounces of like 90-10 ground beef. All right. So you're going to add all 10 ounces, right, in your recipe, right? So you're going to put that all in MyFitnessPal. Then you're going to put however much cheese. Hopefully it's not a shitload of cheese like Mariel's putting, because too much cheese is going to be a lot of calories, because there's a lot of fats in cheese. There's also lower calorie and lower fat cheeses, lower fat alternatives that you could actually make, which will be less calorie wise. All right. So you're going to add let's say 12 ounces of cheese. All right. That's probably a lot. But let's say you're going to add 12 ounces of cheese. So you have 12 ounces of cheese in your recipe. You have 10 ounces of what do we say, of beef, and you're gonna have whatever the amount of red tomato sauce that you're using, and then the actual lasagna, right? The actual carb, the actual lasagna. So let's say through this whole recipe, for everybody listening and everybody making their lasagna, and if you want to send some my way, I'll be happy to taste test it for you. So let's say through all these ingredients, it gives you 300 carbs, and it gives you let's say calories wise, right? I don't want to confuse you too much with the macros, all right? So let's say the total calories of this lasagna that you made is like 1,500. Hold on, I need a better number because I'm terrible at math. All right, so let's say this total lasagna that you made is 1,600 calories, all right? Now, what you do, you cut it in eight pieces, right? 8 slices, all right? So what you do is you divide that 1,600 by 8, and that gives you 200 calories a slice of lasagna, right? Now, does that mean that you're eating exactly 200 calories in this one slice of lasagna? No, okay? But it's going to be as close as possible without, like, picking apart every little recipe that you can, right? It's going to be as close as possible. And if you're making it for one, then you're probably going to eat those 1,600 calories anyway within that week. And then that's all that matters, right? Because what matters what happens at the end of the day, and it matters what happened at the end of the week. Happens what matters at the end of the month. Does that make sense, guys? So if you make this 1,600 calorie lasagna, and you have 4 slices, you have just had 800 calories worth of lasagna. All right? Does that make sense? You can have lasagna if it fits your calories and macros, but it's probably going to take a big hit on your calorie count. All right? Cool. Makes sense to Adrian. Anybody else? Does that make sense to everybody? We got 2 more questions to go. 2 more really good questions. Really good questions this week, guys. All right. So again, guys, with those breakdowns, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be exact, but like nothing ever is, right? So you want to just get to as close as possible that you can with it. All right. Next one. What is more? So Colton, we're on your question, brother. So which is more accurate for calculating body fat percentage? You have a scale. This is a really good question. Actually, a lot of clients have been asking me about this. So we're talking about body fat here. So he has a scale that says 22%, while the body caliper test tells me that you're 18%. The problem he's having with the scale is that you're seeing inaccuracy. This water's got me hyped. Inaccuracy since I started working out. So I said I lost 3 pounds of muscle in a single day, while the body caliper test shows muscle gain. Number 1, you cannot lose 3 pounds of muscle in a single day unless you completely overtrained, outworked yourself, killed yourself in the weight room, and probably did not eat at all. Okay? It's very, 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 very hard to lose 3 pounds of muscle in a day, all right? That's number 1. Number 2, a body caliper test is probably the most accurate compared to the next one is like a bod pod, those like water tanks that you put yourself in. That's probably the most accurate. And even then, guys, listen to this, very important, it can be up to 2 to 3% off, okay? So if it says you're at 10% body fat, it could mean that you're at 13% body fat, and it could mean that you're at 7% body fat. Also, if you're doing the caliper, which is very accurate, it has to be from the same person every single time, and it has to be measured in the same spots every single time, right? So if you're getting your body, if you're getting the body caliper, I don't have one. The body caliper is that like pinching machine that like it pinches the most uncomfortable areas of your body. For men, I think it's like it's left side, upper chest. What is it? is like somewhere above your stomach, and then like low back. So it pinches the most uncomfortable areas because that's where we tend to hold our fat. For women, I think it's bicep, upper stomach, lower back as well, somewhere around that. But it's going to be very inaccurate if you go to somebody different every time, because where I am measuring your body caliper might be different than where anybody else is measuring your body caliper. How can you calculate that if you don't have access to that? Where do you go? I'm going to get to that in a second. Really good questions. The body fat percentage on a scale or on those handheld machines, not the ones where you're standing, but those handheld machines that you could buy. Again, guys, those are all like can be inaccurate, right? Can be. So, like, think about this. The most accurate form of measuring yourself is in those body tank things, and I think it costs around like $50 or $60 to do that, and it just gives you a number. And that can be up to 3% off. All right. The second thing, like the scales that have the body fat percentage, think about how off those could be, because those are like something you could buy at like Target or something like that. It's like $30. Now I'm saying all of this, guys, because I don't want you to go crazy about a number. Just like I don't want you going crazy over the number on the scale, whether you gain a pound or lose a pound from day to day or week to week or based on something that you ate. I don't want you going crazy with body fat percentage. I've seen so many people do this, and I used to do, and I'm telling you this, I'm so passionate about this because I used to do this. Don't go crazy on your body fat percentage. Measure yourself on things that are completely attainable. All right? Measure yourself on the scale. All right? So the number on the scale. All right? Measure yourself a few times a week. If it doesn't drive you crazy, you can measure yourself 7 times a week and get an average. And if that average is going down, and if that's where you want to see it, or that's where you want the scale moving, then you're doing great. If that scale is moving up, and that's where you want to see it, great. If that scale is moving up, and you want to see it moving down, then you have to eat less, right? Eat a little bit less and exercise a little bit more. Another way you can track your measurements or track your progress is measurements. All right, so measure yourself, measure your waist, measure. So like men, for my male clients, I have my male clients, my male and female clients measure once a week. So if you're a male, you're gonna measure your chest, waist, and hips. All right. For females, you're gonna measure your neck, waist, and hips, all right? And if that stuff is moving down and that's the direction you want it moving, then you're doing great. Another way to measure your progress is is how your clothes are feeling, right? Ooh, I need a water break. So another way of measuring progress is measurements. So the scale, measurements. And then last and most importantly, and it drives me crazy when people don't do this, especially if clients, and I get on you every single time if you're a client and you don't do this, is pictures. All right? Pictures. I have pictures from like when I started working out, like, what was it, like almost 12 years ago now, when I started working out consistently, that I could compare to today. Like, and initially when I took it, like I have them, if you follow me on Instagram, you could scroll down and you'll see them. Like, I was like literally covering my face. Like, I took a picture of just like my midsection because I was embarrassed. And I get it. Like, it can be embarrassing and it can be very, very, very uncomfortable. But it's also very, very, very important. I know. It's also very, very important that you take these pictures, all right? So, like, take some pictures. If you're a client and you're not taking pictures, I'm going to get on you. You already know that. If you're not a client, take some pictures, hide them in your phone somewhere, but always use these pictures for points of reference, because like I can't tell you how many clients have, like, I've sent them progress pictures and they're like, oh shit, I didn't know how much progress I was making. If it wasn't for these pictures, I've literally had this. If it wasn't for these pictures, I would have never known how much progress I've been making, all right? So screw the number that whatever body fat percentage this thing tells you. And I know there's if you're local here, I know they have those some of those more accurate ones where you could stand on and it has the body fat percentage, but who cares? If you're a guy, all right, girls, cover your ears. If you're a guy and how many guys in here have ever had a girl ask them hey, what's your body fat percentage? Nobody's ever fucking done that. Who cares what your fucking body fat percentage is, all right? If you look good, if you feel good, that's all that matters. And women, now you could unplug your ears. Who cares what your body fat is, right? If you're feeling good, if you're feeling sexy, it doesn't matter what your body fat is, all right? If you, let's say this, for both men and women, if you're feeling good, if you feel sexy, if you feel great, if you feel confident in your clothes and everything, and all of a sudden, I'm hey, you are at this percentage body fat, and it gets you down, what's the point of that, right? Doesn't really make any sense. Even, let's go on an extreme end, even if you compete, even if you step on stage and compete, I guarantee you a judge has never asked these people, hey, what's your body? The reason you lost this competition is because you're not at so-and-so body fat. Who gives a fuck what the body fat is, all right? Hope I've narrowed that. I hope I ingrained that in your guys' heads and nailed that down, all right? I'm going to need a refill before this video is over. It's almost over, so we'll see. All right, pictures, 100% agree. Hate taking pictures. I'm so thankful I have them. I'm telling you, man, I was there with you, with all of you guys. It can be very uncomfortable taking pictures, especially if you take a progress picture and you compare it to one before, and you're this is not what I thought I was going to look like, right? So, but it's important, right? Because weight loss and muscle gain, nothing is linear, meaning that it's never just going to go in one direction, this way. You're not going to just gain strength and gain muscle this way, and you're not going to just lose fat or lose weight this way, right? It usually goes in a curve, right? So it's usually here, you hit a high, you're I don't know what the hell I did different. I ate all the same foods, then you hit this new low, then you hit a new high, then you hit a new low. As long as that scale is continuing to move down and that's your goal, then you're doing great, all right? Very last and final question, guys, is going to be, how much cardio do I need versus strength training to lose inches? So this came from Andrea. Andrea, hopefully you're catching this replay. And if anybody here is catching the replay, I want you to put hashtag, don't spell it out, just put the sign, right? The hashtag replay, all right? So, how much cardio do I need versus strength training to lose inches, all right? So I always say this, you want to use cardio as a tool, all right? Because a lot of us use cardio for punishment. A lot of us will eat that whole 1,600 calorie lasagna that we made, right? And then we'll say, all right, well, I burned, I ate 1,600 calories, so now I need to go burn, I need to go do cardio for an hour, right? That's the absolute wrong mindset to have, and that's why so many of us, myself included, have hated cardio in the past, because you punish yourself by doing cardio. What I want you to do is I want you to use cardio as a tool, all right? So what that means is strength training should always be your primary focus, right? Unless you are training for, or unless you're getting ready to make weigh-ins for if you're a professional athlete or a wrestler, which again, I don't think anybody in here is, that's when you want to do cardio, because it'll show a quick drop on the scale, all right? But that's just water weight, all right? That's why if anybody here watches boxing, MMA, any type of fighting, anything like that, they can fluctuate 12 pounds within a few days, 10 to 12 pounds within a few days, just to make weight, and then they'll eat a lot more just to go back to their functional weight, because if they fight at that weight, they're gonna feel like shit, and they're not gonna be able to perform well. So anyway, it went on too much of a tangent there. Always use strength training as your base, all right? Strength training is your primary focus, all right? The more muscle and or tone, if you're a female, or whatever word you guys want to use out there, muscle tone, strength, whatever, tone, said that already, that is always going to be the primary thing, all right? The more muscles and or tone that we have, the more fat we burn at a resting state, all right? That being said, you always, so like order of importance when you're trying to lose inches and or fat, nutrition is number one. If your nutrition is not intact, you're never going to be able to, quote unquote, you know that saying, you can't out-train a bad diet? You can't, all right? Like, I could eat, I don't have any food in here. I'm looking around like I do. If I have like a big old like package of Oreos and I eat all that, that's like, I don't know, let's say like 3,200 calories. Like, do you know how long it would take me to burn 3,200 calories, right? And then on top of that, I gotta burn more because that's just like canceling each other out. So number one is your nutrition, all right? Cut out the little stuff first. Don't make extreme changes. If you drink a lot of soda, cut out soda. If you are a ice cream monster like I used to be, then get that ice cream out of your house, all right? So, nutrition. Cut out the little things. Number two is going to be strength training, all right? Focus on that. Lift heavy, lift often, lift safely. Excuse me. And then number three is cardio, okay? So start incorporating a little bit of cardio in your workout, in your day-to-day. If you are not losing inches and or losing weight and or fat, go back to the drawing board. Is it because you overate, or is it because like you stuck to everything and nothing's working, right? You stuck to your nutrition, your workouts, and your cardio, and nothing's working. Then you can start upping your cardio a little bit, all right? As far as how much, again, it's similar to like the calorie deficit thing. So like you could start increasing your cardio and or decreasing your calories. Ideally, you want to do a little bit of both, so that way you're not doing like this much cardio and or not eating like a chipmunk, right? Because we need to be able to live. All right, hope that answers your question, Andrea. Let me know if it does. We got about 5 minutes to answer any more questions if you guys have any. I think we got one that popped in. Question on cardio. Is doing the Stairmaster on leg day after leg exercises a benefit or not? Depends on who you ask. Me personally, if I am going to be doing cardio on leg day, I do like to do the Stairmaster, as long as you're doing it correctly, as long as you're not hunched over, leaning on the machine and walking over, because then you're going to have like a really tight back, all right? So lactic acid, that's the word that I was looking for earlier, and it applies to this. So Mariel, if you're doing stairs on the Stairmaster, or if you're doing like the bike, that's going to break up a lot of lactic acid, so a lot of like acid that your legs are holding from all the muscle all the blood that has pumped into the muscle. So that's going to break that down, which can also help with the recovery. Now, that being said, if you're absolutely dying from leg day, if you are really sore and or really tired, then no, don't do the Stairmaster. Like, again, guys, we want to do what's going to be sustainable, and that's always what you want to think of. Like with a lot of this stuff, is it sustainable? Can I do this long term? Right? Maybe like if you want to do stairs after leg day, and it's your first week back, probably not a good idea, because you're probably really sore from your legs anyway. But let's say it's your second week back, then you could start easing into it, or you could do like, I don't know, let's say you do 20 minutes of cardio. You could start with 10 minutes of stairs and then do 10 minutes of something else, right? Or if you have a certain calorie number that you're trying to burn, you burn like half on the stairs and then you burn half on something else, all right? Does that make sense? Cool, guys. All right, my voice is lost, and I'm gonna need some more water soon. But do you guys have any questions for me? If you do, right now is the time to pop it up. All right. Otherwise, I want you to put some fire emojis, put some flames up, put some yoga flames up. All right. Let me know if you do have any questions. And then if I am missing your questions, I'll go back. I'm going to go back in the chat and see. Yeah, guys, great questions today. I'm going to go get a refill. Mario, you did that exactly today. Perfect. Cool, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you that watched and are going to watch later. If you're watching later, put hashtag replay so that way I know you're watching, and if you have any questions, that's a perfect time too. All right, guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Today's Wednesday, right? The 5th. Hope you have an amazing rest of your Wednesday, and thank you again for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.